It's 2011. Giselle Pellicot is 58 years old. She lives with her husband, Dominic, in Villiers-sur-Marne, a quiet suburb near Paris. Life seems normal, peaceful. She trusts her husband completely. But Dominic has a secret, a dark secret that will destroy everything. One night, Giselle goes to bed feeling tired. She thinks it's normal. She's been tired a lot lately. What she doesn't know is that Dominic crushed sleeping pills into her dinner. In a few minutes, she'll be unconscious, and strangers will enter her bedroom. 2 years later, in 2013, they retired. They moved to a small village in southern France, Maison. Lavender fields, vineyards, the perfect place to grow old together. But the nightmare doesn't stop. Over the next decade, Dominic drugs his wife more than 200 times. What starts as a twisted fantasy becomes one of France's most shocking criminal cases. His accomplices are spread across the country. Fathers, firefighters, nurses, journalists, ordinary men. Men no one would ever suspect. And it all comes to light after one random arrest in a supermarket. This is the story of Giselle Pellicot, a woman who survived 10 years of horror. She didn't even know what was happening, and when she finally learned the truth, she made a choice that would change France forever. When investigators told her what they found, one officer said, she couldn't believe it. She kept saying, "That's not my husband. That's not the man I married. How can a loving husband, a quiet man from a small French town, secretly build a network of predators without anyone noticing? How did it take 10 years for the truth to finally appear?" The man she loved for 50 years was not the man she thought he was. A wolf in sheep's clothing. For half a century, he lied, manipulated, and controlled her, while she trusted him completely. Giselle Pellicot was born in West Germany in 1952. Her father was a French military officer, respected, calm, and kind. Her mother was gentle, warm, and deeply loving. She admired her mother the most. Her warmth made her believe that love was everything. And Giselle told herself that one day she would love the same way her mother did. When she was 5, her family moved to France. 4 years later, she lost her mother, but she carried her mother's love in her heart and promised she would give the same to the person she would one day love. On the other side of France, another child was born. His name was Dominic Pellicot. Unlike Giselle, he grew up in a violent home. He watched his father hurt his mother day after day. At 13, Dominic started working as an electrical apprentice. 80% of his salary went to his father. He kept almost nothing for himself. Giselle and Dominic grew up in completely different worlds, but that didn't stop them from falling in love. In 1971, Giselle met Dominic at a dance in Paris. She was 18, he was 19. Dominic was a reserved man, quiet and mysterious, but Giselle was patient and understanding, so the two fell in love. 2 years later, in 1973, they got married. 3 children followed. For Giselle, this was everything. Dominic was kind, devoted, a good father. She had found her one true love. But something changed. Dominic grew distant. He controlled the money, controlled her movements. Giselle told herself it was stressful. Work, life. She tried to be patient. In 2001, they divorced on paper, a legal strategy to protect their home from Dominic's business debts. But nothing really changed. They continued to live together as husband and wife. In 2007, they even remarried. To Giselle, their life seemed normal. She had no idea what was coming. Giselle believed they would spend the rest of their lives together. She trusted him completely. In 2013, they both retired. Giselle retired from her logistics manager job, while Dominic from his electrician job. They moved to a quiet place to spend the rest of their lives together, Maison, France. But something wasn't right. Giselle started feeling sick, exhausted, confused. She told Dominic. He said she just needed rest. He treated her with care. When she felt better, they would talk about their younger days. Their children often called them lovebirds. But one morning, Giselle woke up shaking. Her food tasted bitter. She was forgetting things. She knew something was wrong. She was losing weight. Her hair was falling out. And her memory was slipping away. Days turned into weeks. Then she noticed the bruises on her arms, her thighs, places she couldn't explain. Dominic told her she'd fallen in her sleep. Their children grew worried. They took Giselle to the hospital, and Dominic came with her, looking concerned. Doctors examined her and ran every test. They found nothing. It wasn't dementia. It wasn't Alzheimer's. Everything came back normal. The doctors told Giselle to rest. It could be stress or just her age. She had no choice but to go home. But Giselle could feel it. Something was terribly wrong. She had no idea that her husband, Dominic, was the reason. Her husband was drugging her. Dominic was buying sleeping pills and anti-anxiety medication, not for himself, but for Giselle. He put them in her food and drinks not to help her, but to control her. Her husband was secretly recording her. He made her unable to defend herself and took advantage of her trust. Giselle didn't know about the medication. Dominic kept recording her and even shared it online. He joined an online chat group. It's called Without Her Knowing. Some men even shared it with others and spoke about how they treated their own wives. And Dominic also spoke about his fantasies. And he felt something he had never felt before. That's when he decided to do more. He invited strangers into their house while Giselle was unconscious. He let the men take advantage of Giselle while he filmed it. For years, Dominic brought men into their home, strangers he found online. He drugged Giselle unconscious, then allowed these men to assault her. The drugs destroyed her health. The repeated assaults caused infection, exhaustion, and memory loss. Everything she felt was because of what he was doing to her, and she had no idea. And through it all, Dominic played his part perfectly. He took her to the doctors, held her hand in the waiting rooms, told her not to worry, it was probably just stress. He comforted her when she cried. He acted like the devoted husband everyone believed he was. No one suspected him, not the doctors, not their children, not even Giselle. But Dominic had been living a double life. To the world, he was a devoted husband. In reality, he had been drugging and assaulting his wife for years. He recruited strangers online to do the same. He filmed everything. Before anything happened, Dominic had his own rules. No perfume, no smoking, warm hands, and the last one, no protection. Dominic wasn't making the rules for himself. He was making them for strangers. Strangers he invited into his bedroom while his wife slept. He made these rules because Giselle had a very sensitive sense of smell, and cold hands would wake her up. Over time, Giselle's health kept getting worse. Dominic saw it, but he wasn't worried at all. He was too focused on what he was doing to her. It lasted for 9 years, from 2011 to 2020. Each night, Dominic documented his crimes. On his computer, Dominic kept a detailed archive, files arranged by dates, by names, and by the type of incident, all stored inside a single folder he titled Assault. One afternoon, their daughter came home. She found her mother barely awake, almost unresponsive. Dominic told her it was just a side effect of Giselle's medication. Dominic thought he could do it forever. Not until September 2020. He went to a local store near their house, not to shop, but to film under a woman's skirt. A security guard caught him and called the police, and immediately, Dominic was arrested on the spot. Once caught, the police checked his bag and phone to investigate. That's when they found cameras and recording devices in his bag. The police knew it was not a minor case. This was possibly something worse. So the police conducted a house search. Inside the house, they found a computer. It contained over 20,000 photos and videos of Giselle. Each file documented years of abuse. They were horrified when they discovered the contents of each of it. The police said it was the most significant digital evidence they had ever collected in their careers. The police immediately called Giselle. She was confused as to why the police wanted to see her, not until she saw the file on her husband's computer. At first, she didn't even recognize herself, but when she looked closer, she froze. It was the same bedroom, the same bed where she used to sleep. She asked the police where it came from. Police hesitated, but named her husband. Giselle couldn't speak at all. She cried so hard. She almost lost her mind. How could Dominic do something like this? She broke down completely. The police investigated further. Giselle was taken to the hospital to check her condition. But they discovered another painful truth. Giselle tested positive for a sexually transmitted infection. She had caught it after years of being assaulted without protection. Giselle was in so much pain. The person she loved and trusted most had betrayed her. But Giselle was strong. He might have taken everything from her. Everything except her will to live and speak out. After collecting evidence, the police identified 72 men participating in the video. Men who have their own wives and daughters. They were police officers, nurses, journalists, soldiers, and firefighters, even their own neighbor. And they didn't do it just once. Most came back again and again. One of the men tested positive for an infection, and Giselle caught it. Dominic said he never collected payments. For him, it's not about money. It's the pleasure of watching different men take advantage of Giselle. Police also found images of Dominic's 2 daughters-in-law and a clip of his own daughter, taken without consent. As police dug deeper into Dominic's past, the shocking truth kept coming. In 2010, before he even started drugging Giselle, he had already been caught filming under women's skirts. He was fined €100. His wife was never told, and the police never followed up. If they had, Giselle might have been saved from years of abuse. As the police dug into Dominic's past, more dark truths came up. In 1999, 20 years earlier, he attacked another woman, a real estate agent. He used ether to drug her, tried to rape her. His DNA was at the scene. He admitted it during the trial. But that wasn't all. Another case, 1991. Another real estate agent, Sophie Narmi. She was raped and murdered. The similarities were chilling. Same method, same drug, same type of victim. The police are still investigating. Dominic denies everything. But the big question lingers. How many victims were there, really? When the story broke, people couldn't believe it. How could one man get away with this for years? And why hadn't anyone stopped him sooner? Even Dominic's own children refused to defend him. His sons, David and Florian, both testified against him. They called him the devil. David refused to even call him father. He said, "This man in the dock." Caroline, their daughter, also testified. She believes her father drugged and abused her too. Dominic denies it, but Caroline found photos of herself, unconscious, naked, taken by her father. "I know I was drugged," she told the court. The entire family was destroyed, and they all stood by Giselle. It made headlines everywhere. People around the world followed the story. Newspapers and reporters were coming out almost every day. Women's groups in France called for women's rights to be put first. Social media was full of messages supporting Giselle. It changed French law on domestic abuse. New rules were made to better protect women. In 2021, the trial finally began in Avignon, France. Giselle arrived with her children. Dominic, on the other hand, stayed calm. He didn't look at Giselle. Not even once. The prosecutor showed the evidence. 20,000 files, photos, videos, names, dates. The courtroom fell silent. In December 2024, the court gave its final verdict. Dominic Pellicott was found guilty. Administering harmful substances, assault in violation of privacy, complicity in aggravated harm, possession and distribution of material without consent. Every single charge. Dominic Pellicott was sentenced to 20 years in prison. No chance of parole or early release. But Dominic wasn't alone. Police identified at least 72 different men in the videos. Only 51 could be tracked down and charged. All 51 stood trial. All 51 were found guilty. Sentences ranged from 3 to 15 years. Some walked with suspended sentences. Many believed the punishment was too light. For Giselle, it wasn't enough to ease the pain. The law punished them, but the scars they caused remained. Giselle disappeared from the public eye. She moved far away, outside the city, to start over. Giselle continued her treatment. Her body was weak, but her will to live was stronger than ever. Giselle stayed kind. She never spoke of hate, only the truth. She didn't want revenge. She wanted awareness, so that no one else would go through what she went through. Her case changed France forever. Giselle Pellicott became a symbol of courage and resilience. Dominic remains in prison. Even behind bars, he shows no remorse. A psychologist confirmed he displays clear traits of narcissism. He didn't see Giselle as his wife. To him, she was a symbol of something pure, something he wanted to control. Dominic's story reminds us, a monster doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes, it hides behind the mask of a loving husband, a devoted father. And Giselle is living proof that after every storm, the light of hope can still shine. A painful betrayal cannot take away a person's will to survive.